And also, China is the most advanced automotive driving system. They are very clever. They prepare regulation, and they prepare the auto driver lanes all over China, right? In the city and everywhere.
They also have them in the United States, by the way.
No. China is different.
Yeah. But
China is different. China is the regulation is different. If this is exclusive lane, okay, if person get in the lane and the auto driver hit him, no responsibility, and human being wrong. The China can do that. Only China can do it. Like America or any other country, if they prepare the special lane and the human being get inside and hit the or driving car, in this case cause problem. So this is the reason why, only the reason why they cannot implement auto driving system. Right?
Not the only reason why, because they already have separate lanes for.
But why they don't do that and all the way around? Because they even if separate lane, but in the case of people getting
operation of law.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
different.
You
But
cannot-
that's
cannot-
what you said. Right?
law cannot protect the kind of accident. So this is the one reason. So they cannot do that.
Well, laws and regulations, I think that's one of the major obstacles. That people will not be allowed to let their trucks into the city center because it's perceived to be too dangerous. Just like why airplanes need pilots, just in case.
The landing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
special like a special highway, and they try to avoid the people getting in. But if you're going to like a downtown city,
Yeah, I know.
and even though they prepare the special lane, but people can cross in road, and what kind of things happen. But so that's the only reason they cannot avoid accident.
Plus,
In the China cases, get accident, and government define, okay, if you're going to get inside, but this is your responsibility. Government or driving car company, they don't need to pay for them.
but at the same time, but we see, okay, so we'll need less drivers, right? But if we need less drivers, that means that transportation will become cheaper. Transportation will become cheaper. That means that we will start to use more of it. That means that there will be an increase in demand because probably the driving system will be such that it will be automated and automatically cars will be like when they come on the highway they will take a 5 meter distance and then automatically they will drive like a train. So we can transport more safety, electric vehicles or
I think Germany tried to do that one.
Yes.
Germany.
Yeah.
So innovation happen for highway, okay? Highway is no, we don't need any driver. So what they're going to do is a very big car park area. They're going to prepare to switch in driver get off the truck on any kind of vehicle, and all the vehicles get into the highway. So they're going to prepare a big car park area. So drivers get off, and then or like a private car, you can get in the car, but you don't need to drive. So you take a rest in the car. Kind of system will going to be with actual exercise will going to be happen within a couple of years, right? I understand, but I thought taxi driver will going to be lose their job. No, it is not easy.
But they are already piloting this in the United States, like driverless taxis.
Yeah, they said Arizona.
Yeah,
They can, but Arizona is no people. No people.
Actually, yes, Nevada.
It's easy.
not only Arizona. I
Like
think.
Arkansas or Arizona.
Arizona, and Nevada. Yeah, I think
That's right.
it's gonna be easy.
Like
but New York City or Los Angeles, Seattle.
We saw a video about the driverless taxi, and where was it? I don't think it was in Arizona. It was not in Arizona.
No, Arizona.
Was it Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, it's okay. Arizona.
And this one big, right? Like famous one, right? Google car,
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, and make an action, right?
No accident.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
there
really?
was a car. There was an accident with a car.
Yeah, just once pending
Yeah.
the test
Yeah.
in Arizona.
Yeah.
Accident.
Yeah, there was an accident.
So they cannot avoid the accident. Irregular.
Yeah, also.
It's the case will happen irregularly. So we cannot avoid it.
Yeah.
And also, Waymo, the head of the technological division, he quit the firm. And then he said, okay, all driving is, we need another 20, 30 years, he said. Right? It means he took responsibility of Waymo.
Waymo is automatic.
He does the
delivery.
Technology department head said, he said, it takes 20, 30. That's the reason why he told.
Because there's a huge pressure on Waymo
exactly,
and other cars to bring it to the market first.
So he said.
So they will, of course, if you're first, then you have a huge advantage. So there is a lot of pressure from the stockholders, from everybody, to bring that to the market first.
Exactly. This is crazy. There's a lot of money invested, but finally they cannot. They really, they can't do it.
But in the US, it's too much pressure.
Yeah,
because of the free market economy.
This is a new. Okay, fix it. New system. This one is it's like got a lot of problem. This one.
What?
This one.
Catalina?
Catalina.
What is Catalina?
I just installed
this.
It's a new Mac OS.
That's the name of OS?
Yes.
Pilot OS.
Pilot?
Yeah, Pilot OS, but still they do not recommend.
I already had to upgrade it.
No. They don't recommend not to implement. I
really?
just
I
did it. I spent a half day.
Already you installed it?
Yeah, half day. I spent.
But I already had to install an update.
Yeah, but this case, what happened? Skype doesn't work, and many software doesn't work.
So that's why.
And this one, what is this? This
so
video.
You were early adapter?
Yeah, this one.
Skype doesn't work.
Camtasia doesn't work, and many software doesn't work. Everything I reinstall it, and still have a lot of problem now, like this.
But you need to.
They recommend you not to implement this new OS.
Maybe it's not the problem of the OS. It's basically Skype has not been adopted yet. That
no,
makes sense.
Skype doesn't work under this system.
Right. Okay, but that's not the problem of the OS. That's the problem that Skype now has to work.
Yeah, many software is not meet with this Catalina. Many software it does not catch up with Catalina. Okay.
So it would have been, but I actually set an automatic setting in my in Mac to actually
automatically implement it. Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Really?
Yes. I did it, but maybe that was not so smart.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, look at that. What is that?
2050?
Ching, ching, ching. You see that flickering right in the right top?
Yeah. Right top.
What is this?
Oh, what is that?
Oh, maybe that's your
the
projector. I don't see it in your screen.
Which
It's a projector. Here. Ching, ching, ching.
This one. Can you see that? This is.
It's probably your projector.
This is, I think, is a time of longevity.
Maybe the bulb has been right.
This is but I have another one. No problem.
Projector?
Yeah.
Okay. So drivers, maybe, but not all of them. And I think there will be more demand for logistics. So
yeah, I think a long range drive is, can.
How do you think about taxi driver?
Taxi driver, well, it is possible, man. It is possible.
Possible?
Yeah, it's
in
possible.
Downtown? Even downtown?
I think so. It is possible, but not as quick as the trucks. Especially like Tokyo, because actually all the logistics, all the transport on the streets is almost nothing is private. Most of it is taxis or professional delivery services. There are not that many private cars, so maybe Tokyo could be one of the early adopters.
Yeah, people follow the traffic signal, but in New York, many people do jet walk.
Yes.
So it's going to be different.
I think if I agree with you, and I think next 3 to 5 years, okay, they're going to prepare some special lane, and you can pick up your taxi at this location, and from this location to Haneda Airport is the 100% safety. Like get on the Tokyo highway and to the Haneda Airport, no accident will happen because no person, they never touching people on the way to the Haneda Airport, right? you don't need to meet any people like no crossing, human being no crossing. So that's just only the need to consider for the we can take taxi from this
okay,
place.
I know what you mean. Okay.
And Japan has an interest in that because they have a strong car industry, so they would like to have a pilot with this and be the first one to introduce that. So I think actually Japan is quite likely to have the. Well, there's a pressure. Japan has Toyota, has Nissan, has been piloting a lot with these driverless vehicles. So since the car industry has a big interest in developing this and actually bringing this to the world, I think probably Tokyo or Japan in general is a very logical place where they will be first to actually introduce this because of the commercial interest it has.
Japan is very conservative country.
It is, but it's also very interested in making money and bringing, being a global leader, number one. Japan also has that tendency.
Skeptical. Japanese government, obviously. Like one example, Japan tried to switching from English examination from school to the private company. They stopped it. Do you know why?
No.
Reason is simple. Every language company is a politician sticking to each of those, so they cannot specify which private language company will going to be adopted for the government English test. Because every company, hundreds of different politicians.
I know. This is something that I noticed actually when I was managing the rugby project. Like, one of the good things you always say, like, okay, solidarity and stick with your boss and always say yes to your boss. Make sure. But that also that the result of that is that it's very difficult. So people who are loyal show loyalty and show and support their boss.
Good people.
So basically, if you do a big project, in big projects, you work with people from different organizations or different departments need to work together. So they have different groups, different bosses who have their own interests. If you need to have a bigger goal, like a goal that exceeds the level of the bosses, so if from the different departments from different countries, it becomes very, very difficult because everybody is just focusing on the interest of his or her boss. And to synchronize this and to make it a bigger goal, this is really the weak spot of Japanese corporate culture, I think.
How does it relate into English
Because
test?
it is the same. There are different people, different groups who have different interests for a different English test.
I'm telling you.
The bigger interest is that actually Japanese society as a whole becomes more literate in English. That's the bigger goal. But because we are so much focused on our own private interests, we cannot reach the bigger goal because everybody is basically just looking each other.
I tell you, 100 bribes. 100 bribes, impossible. Any English school is sticking to politician. Politician get money for this company, so they hundreds of those. So nobody cannot select which school is try to be adopting for the English test, officially English test school. They cannot.
That's stupid. If you think about it, if you just basically don't listen to all these politicians, you say, okay, so we're gonna do this system, and then every other school gets the right to actually use that system.
Exactly.
So not only then it's going to be solved, right?
This is any government, any country will going to be corrupted because of bribe. Corruption is the country will burst. Okay, so this is one example.
But
it's crazy. That's true.
Yeah, it really stops so many good things in Japan.
Exactly.
This kind of
this
attitude.
is sort of thing. So that's the reason I'm very much worrying about that. It's kind of, Japan is everything conservative. They don't want to change anything. If you're going to change something, some counterpart will come in, another big voice, left wing or right wing. So this is Japan is very
I
conservative
just
country.
can't agree on the bigger interests. Everybody is just digging in to protect his own.
Yeah, he is a very honest person. He try to take right things right way. But the Japanese people, they don't do that. Always some politician, some powers is coming on the stage. Like one good example, Tokyo Olympic marathon. They decide to support. Suddenly they come and support.
Yeah.
And some person did move, right? So some person did move, but they got some money moving around. That's
Exactly.
simple reason.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
Well, I mean, if you look at it for the athletes, Sapporo is much better, of course.
yeah, of course, but this is not common sense.
It's the Tokyo Olympics, not the Japan Olympics.
Tokyo Olympic is
Ridiculous in August. No.
right. So this is strange country.
The past Olympics were in the fall, Aki.
Yes. I think August or late September.
Yeah.
Oh, this is decided by Dirty Mori.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
So that's why Mori. Mori. I'm
got
sure
the-
he
he got
got
the
the money from IOC.
Well, it's just like what happened with the World Cup soccer, right? In Doha. The World Cup soccer in Doha. Are you kidding me? In July, it's 50 degrees
kidding.
outside.
Yeah, no, kidding. That's kidding. Everybody knows that's kidding.
You
What
can't
the
play soccer under those temperatures. People will die.
Terrible. So why the organization decide?
Of course, money was
Right.
paid.
This
Yeah.
one?
Bribes.
That's right.
Yep.
Or FIFA, or every sports, it's
Yeah, but FIFA is famous for its corrupt officials. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if 90%, if not 100% of all the African officials are there because of bribes and money being received. There's so much money at stake, and especially maybe European officials, they make enough money to be satisfied, but a lot of Africa. In Africa, there's a saying: if you are close to, I don't know exactly how to say that, but animals they eat from a trog, I think it's called.
I'm sorry,
Trog. It's kind of like the place where animals are being fed. So if you're close to that place where food is being fed, you're stupid if you don't eat. So basically, just if you have the opportunity, just do it.
I remember it, and somebody mentioned that they can implement part of driving is automatically implemented, like car parking, like get on the highway, and those is automatically they can switch into auto drive.
Oh.
Like a car driver asks for the car, okay, I want to park here, and he just car automatically park.
Can already do that.
Really?
That already
Yeah,
exists.
BMW 7 or
Yeah.
S-Class.
Already
we
does
can
it.
They don't do nothing. And just,
They don't do nothing.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And actually, the funny thing is that they advertise it, and in the advertisement they put a woman in the advertisement. That got so many bad publicity because women felt so insulted because why it has to be a woman? You can already do it.
Yeah.
This partial automation is already
Yeah,
exists,
that's
yeah.
right. Perfect.
Yeah.
How about second one? No driver.
Second one is farmers.
From us.
Farmers kind of atarimai. The only problem here is that
We are still talking about fast driver. That's okay.
What?
No. Never mind.
farmers.
Oh,
Farmers are keko atarimai, but in Japan, I don't think there's enough economies of scale to do that. So small scale farming, the land is just too small. The
this
plots
is-
of land
This
is too
is
small.
farmers is but like Netherlands or like
Netherlands,
Israel,
Australia, USA.
No. What I'm talking about, farmer business is not agriculture. Agricultural technology. Okay. So very advanced technology should going to be adopted. Like you try to breed tomatoes, and water need to be kind of less than 5% of the current water system. It's also the fertilizer is also they're going to drastically going to change it. and also instead of suntan, they try to breed vegetable inside in house or inside house.
Greenhouse.
Not greenhouse. Inside house. Inside house, like a 7 stories house. Like they already
In
tested.
cities.
They already tested in Vietnam. Vietnam, okay, in Vietnam.
Really?
In
Then
New
you-
York? In New
Vietnam.
York City? New York City?
No, Vietnam. And
New York City.
no, Vietnam is Fujitsu made that building, and inside building they try to make only not natural light. This is a human.
Or like a suiko saibai.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't know the in English.
This
Probably
is a-
suiko
Urban
saibai.
farming. Urban
But
farming.
this is-
It's
so now
very
is-
hot.
Now is just farmer. Okay, we don't need farmer, but we now is agriculture business is different type of agriculture business. It's completely much more focused technology, because like coding using Python, they try to like how to automatically handling the like how to breed vegetables, and 24 hours they're going to control the temperatures, waters, fertilizer, everything.
Really?
It's kind of controlled by system. Now it's developing undergoing now, and
In Vietnam?
yeah, also they consider for deep learning, many kind of top high-end technology will combine get together for fun. You know that?
Yes.
Holland is most advanced country.
How about Israel?
Israel
Yeah,
too.
yeah, also same.
Yep. Israel also has
Israel
like
and
adverse
Holland.
circumstances with lots of drought, so they need to control the climate. They have the money, and they have the need to control the climate. That's why Israel is such a.
Yeah,
And
Ja-
another example is New York City, urban farming, because like New York is an urban area. It's very difficult to get food to the people, so they want to grow where people are consuming it. So inside Manhattan, they're using these. Yeah, urban farming is very very hot. Because it's very environmentally friendly. We don't need to transport the food in and out of the city.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's really-
There's some places in Manhattan.
Yes.
But Japan is also advanced technology, but unfortunately, government not so much recognize
No.
to develop
will
kind
come.
Of, yeah.
It will come because I think that once the real news about urban farming comes out of New York and other places in the world, because it's necessary, right? If you think of long term, it's not sustainable to keep bringing all this food in and out of the city. It costs too much. It's too much environmentally unfriendly. It costs time and money. Therefore, it makes sense to do it. You just need the real estate to do it. So they need to grow it on the roofs of these buildings or inside, reserve a few floors. And you see it already. Like even in Belgium, I stayed in an Airbnb and I saw across. I said, "What's that?" They have a greenhouse on top of on the roof of a tall building. They were growing their own foods there.
By the way, I went to Vietnam, I think, 4 years ago, and just visit for the place for the. They breed some flowers exporting to Japan.
Where is it?
Flower.
Where was that?
What is the flower? Most expensive flower. What's the name of it?
Orchids.
Kochora?
Orchids. Kochora.
Oh, right.
Kochora,
This one.
okay.
But that they told me they just introduced me to look and have a plant tour, but huge.
Where was it? Which country?
Darat. Darat is 100 meters high from Da Nang to Darat.
Oh,
Vietnam.
Near Dana.
Vietnam.
Near Dana.
Da Nang to going up to the height.
I
1,000
know.
meters.
So near Dana.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are. They visit the plant, but I saw this plant. What is the plant? A huge plant, huge one. And if you cannot see the attain, okay, tremendous huge one.
Really?
And like
Was it open air or was it
not
greenhouse?
open, no, greenhouse. And
Totally inside the building.
it's just I saw that it's exactly manufacturing plant, not farming.
So they don't have earthquakes in Vietnam?
No. But
Surprising.
you see, I thought Vietnam farming is not farming. exactly manufacturing plant.
Industry, yeah, just like the Netherlands. Like the Dutch farming is much like manufacturing.
Yeah, I just get in the inside. I was so amazed. I can see attain, okay, and they are breeding, flower. Every flower automatically they control. Vietnam, I was so amazed.
So actually, you did like the first computer I ever saw in my life as a kid was when we went with school. We went to visit a farm. Already in farms in the early 1970s, they were using computers.
So don't think about farmer. Farming is not farming. This is a high technology area already.
And has been for a long time.
Interesting.
So farmers are really very tech savvy, very tech literate, so farming for me it seems like an obvious choice for automation to be replaced. Like farming used to be like 100 years ago, 60-70% of all employment was in farming. Now it's less than 5%.
Oh, it's some 5%?
Yeah, in the developed world, not globally, but in the developed world.
So just ordinary people consider we're going to breed the flowers and looks at this open air. No. 100% precise control
Inside.
within the house. So they can get better performance.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, because it's really like you said. Really
How about
like
third
it.
one? Okay, second
Third
one.
one.
So
Okay.
by the way, how about...
Oh, actually, maybe you should stop the video. Actually, I don't know how long you have. But
No, cannot already.
Save it.
Yeah, we should save it.
Oh, what are you talking about?
This is too heavy.
Uno-san is recording, but if it takes too long, then it crashes.
Gotcha.
Crashes.